Okay, so in case that you haven't thought of any questions, so maybe you can start with introducing yourself first by typing your information into the chat box. So we got Ene here, we got Vinita from Sri Lanka. What about others then? Ooh, we have lots of people here. So, Mark, do you want to introduce a little bit about the MA Education Suite, of course, like how many specialization do you have and how like each specialization differs from each other? Maybe that kind of information?
Yeah, we could do that. I guess that they have already explored our website and what the masters is about and what it entails, etc. I will not be using PowerPoint. Apologies for that. I've seen your email, by the way, but we can't use that one. I'll let you know why later. So the Masters in Education is a level seven program, which means that you are working at a very high level. You're working at academic excellence almost, and it's where we start thinking about the wider implications of education, supporting children, our approaches. We take a critical stance to practice. So if you're interested in doing it full time, this is a 1-year program. It's a 12 months program. If everything goes to plan, 12 months. And it comprises 5 modules. So it comprises 4 30-credit modules and 1 60-credit module. And the 60-credit module is the dissertation, which is a major independent study, is research-based, and the focus of the dissertation and your research is completely up to you. If you're interested in, as Nam said, in digital learning, digital pedagogy, you can focus on that. If you're interested in early childhood, you can focus on that. You can focus on leadership. You can focus on teaching and learning. You can focus on inclusion, special educational needs, or even something really, really specific like how to support dyslexia in an early in a reception classroom or something like that. Okay, but it's completely up to you. We will not tell you what to do and how to do it. The other modules, the other 4 modules, the other 12 modules, there are some core modules that are aligned with the specialization you're choosing. So if you're choosing, for example, digital learning, you will have core modules on digital pedagogy and digital learning, e-tutoring, etc., etc. And there'll be optional modules. And then there is a common core module for everyone, which is research methods, where you start learning about and plan your dissertation. Okay? It's an intense course. I'm not going to lie to you. It's intense. It's demanding. You must be committed to it because it requires lots of reading, lots of time, lots of involvement. But at the end of the day, this is what I started saying. This is at the level 7 course, and it will help you take a step further in your professional career. In terms of timetabling, you will be doing 2 modules at a time. So term 1, if you start, for example, I'm just going to start talk for September, but the January starters are exactly the same. Okay, so term 1, September to December, you will do 2 modules. January to March, you will do 2 more, and then the rest will be the dissertation. If you start in January, it just pushes 1 term everything. So term 1 would be January till March, you would do 2 modules. March till July, you would do 2 more modules, and then September till December, you would do the dissertation. Apart from this, all international students must also do academic skills, a module that is not credited, is not graded, but we believe that it will support you, and it's been proven that it supports your academic development. We will help you with academic reading, academic writing. We will help you with critical analysis, structuring assignments, etc. And all international students must complete this module. And it's that would be the third morning or the third day that you would spend on campus. So 2 modules at a time plus academic skills. Usually you would come 3 days. Sometimes because of timetabling, you might do 2 modules on the same day. It's rare, but it happens, okay? Apart from this, the time that you spend on campus, there is time that you will need to spend in the library or at home working towards the content of the assignment or the sessions. Okay, so for those who might be asking, well, can we work? Yes, to some extent. I would not encourage to work full time because then you will not have time to work and to be on studies, and even part time is something that we would need to discuss because otherwise it will affect your performance in the program and your attendance. Because as you know, international students need to comply with the Home Office, with the UK government and their requirements, nothing to do with the university, and you must attend all sessions. You must swipe every single week, or the visa might be withdrawn and you might have to go back to your country if you don't comply with the government, okay? So this is a little bit an overview of the structure, timetabling, about staff. There's a lot of staff working in the program. Myself, as a course leader, I also lecture in some of the modules. But we're all research active. We all have industry experience. We all have a teaching background or an education background, apart from our own research that we bring into our teaching as well. So the links between theory and practice are critically important for us. And everything that we do has to have an impact on your practice, in your setting, in your educational system, okay? And this is how we're going to support you. I don't know. I think I've said a lot. I'm going to let's see if some of the potential students have any questions, maybe.
I will add something to Mark's speaking back then. Thank you, Mark. It was a great presentation of the course. I really like it. But according to the UK government regulation, you are only allowed to work 20 hours per week if you are in term time. You may work full time during holidays, but I would suggest that you spend those time doing the assignments because the assignment is going to be very heavy. Yeah. So you are allowed to work part-time only during your studies, and it's maximum 20 hours per week. So you cannot work over that amount. Otherwise, you may get a notice from the Home Office. And you are also allowed to maintain the high attendance rate. Otherwise, the international office from the school may monitor you as well, because we have an attendance monitoring system.
Yeah, thank you for that. So yes, up to 20 hours, but that would be challenging. Working 20 hours a week and doing a full-time
very challenging actually
master program. It's not impossible. It's not impossible, but people would need to be very organized.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying the names of the modules. Yes, methods of inquiry is the research methods module, and the international learning development module, academic skills. They came up with a very fancy name, but it's academic skills.
Yeah. And this module is going to be taught by Erin, who I believe that many of you have met her during one of the guest lecture.
Oh yeah, she's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any question for Mark? I think somebody is typing in the chat box.
Alternatively, feel free to just turn on your mic and a question if you like.
Maybe Gurpreet, maybe you just unmute yourself and speak if you want to. Oh, yeah, that's one problem that I intend to ask you today, Mark. It's about the student want to change the specialization of the MA education. Is that possible?
Well, something that we would need to discuss, because obviously it all depends. Is this for January, I guess? Is this for January?
I think they are January, yeah.
Well, this is something that we will need to discuss because it all depends on numbers. And if a route doesn't have enough numbers, it might not run enough students. And teaching and learning will definitely be running. It's a very popular, it's a very interesting, very rich. And youth and community, we will need to explore if that's a possibility. It might not be a possibility, and it might not run. So it's something that we will need to look further. Maybe send an email to the admin course, and we might, or to not registry, what are they called? Recruitment. Is there a recruitment email?
Yeah, there's an email like for the international office, but I think at this level they may email the master team at our school. I
Right.
write the email for them. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Email.
You can try email SAPD masters.
How do you defer your admission? Is this an international thing?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but we don't deal with this kind of inquiry here. So if you want to defer the admission, you have to email the international office, because they will be the one who deals with admissions and deferring. The school doesn't like take responsibility for that. I'm sorry.
For the global international, exactly the same as before. We always wait for the numbers, the final numbers, and not just the application, the actual acceptances and people that are actually coming. And depending on numbers, we offer the course, or we might offer an alternative if there's not many people choosing that particular route. So that's for Gurpreet.
Okay, so any other questions?
Yeah, this is some people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have also like some question from other students that may not be here for you. So I I collect the question and then I save it so that they can ask you. Yeah. Choose one module according to
our interest. So as I said before, the masters have routes, and you are choosing, for example, teaching and learning, or the leadership route, or the SEND route. Okay, so those routes have core modules that you cannot choose. Well, if you're choosing the route, I guess is because you're interested in that in the content of that route. So if you're interested in leadership, the core modules will be on leadership and developing leadership skills, etc., etc. And then there are optional modules that you can choose from a range of other modules that usually are part of other routes. So it's a good compromise to be able to choose among that. Can I change my course too? I've not seen anyone that applied for higher education. It's less popular. Well, actually, higher education is not less popular. It's quite popular. But again, if you're interested and you would like to change the specializations, I think you need to contact the email that and I'm just shared with you all, SCPD Masters, and then we'll deal with that. But it is it is popular. Sorry.
Mark, we are having a question about are we going to do internships in MA education?
No, sorry, I missed that one. The program doesn't allow for internships. It's something that perhaps in the future we might explore, but due to academic regulations, it is unfortunately not possible. It's a taught program. It's not a research-based program, and is not a program that has an attached qualification beyond the masters. So this is why there's no internship. Having said this, I would encourage you to find something. If you don't need to work, if you're fortunate enough that you don't need to work while you're here, I would encourage you to potentially spend an afternoon a week or a couple of afternoons a week volunteering. If you're interested in schools, in a local school, you could do that, and then use all that experience to build your curriculum and to build your knowledge. And we can help you find a place if that's what you're interested in, but it would not be part of the course. Right. Please, how flexible is the MA education technology? I'm not sure. What do you mean with flexible? Can you expand a little bit with flexible? What does flexible mean? Could you tell about MA education and special educational needs? Yes, I can. So the special educational needs, I would call it inclusion more than special educational needs, is about how to support all those children that deviate from the norm. Okay, so there are more core modules on special educational needs, autism, and we explore things like how to support children with autism, with dyspraxia, dyslexia, dysgraphia, ADHD, behavioral disorders, etc., Asperger's. So all those challenges that come from dealing with children that we might not be used to, or also with high capacities as well. So it's a very interesting program, and if you're interested in supporting those children, this is probably for you, and it will give you a different perspective. Also, we explore policy around it in special educational needs from an international perspective, not just the English perspective, but also an international perspective. Can you please give some in-depth information about dissertation? How it take. So a dissertation, it's a piece of research. Okay, so the whole dissertation, what it's you become a researcher. So if you're interested in a topic, you need to find out what you're interested in and want to learn. Basically, you are coming up with research questions that you want answers to. Okay, so for example, my current research is on school staff well-being and mental health, and I'm trying to find out ways to change the school to support the teachers and TAs' mental health and well-being. Okay, so this is my focus, my research focus. So you can come up with the research you want, and the methods of research is completely up to you as well. So it could be an action research just based on your own practice, but you might want to do, if you're in leadership, you might want to do a research on the staff in your school, and then you interview them or observe them or ask them questions, etc. And then you collect all that information, analyze it, and answer the questions that you had and make suggestions on how to do it and what we need to do based on what you found. Okay, so it's a very student-led module, but you have a one-to-one supervisor with you that is there all the time for you if you want them, and you can share your questions, you can share your doubts, and they will support you in all that process. Okay. But as I said before, the methods of inquiry module, the research methods module, is a preparation for the dissertation. You take it before the dissertation, and the assignment is a plan for the dissertation. Okay. What about dissertation works? What about dissertation? I'm not sure I understand that question.
Yeah, I think that question is kind of similar to the previous question, so maybe we can like move to the next question. A question about employability.
Yeah. So employability is very high. Most of our students are already employed in their home nations, in their home countries. And what these masters provide is a further higher level qualification, a master's qualification that will definitely improve your CV and your chances to gaining new jobs in the home country or here if you're interested. The employability rate, I don't know it from the top of my head. I don't know if you know it now.
I'm not sure about that, but like,
sorry, the number is really high. It's very high, but I don't know it from the top of my head. But a lot of our students stay. Lots also go back to their own home nations, and then they've developed their understanding, their practice, and they get new jobs when they have finished. Oh, the flexibility. No, as I said before, you don't have to go every day to campus. You don't have to come to school every single day. So you are doing 3 modules. The first 2 terms, you're doing 3 modules. 2 MA modules and the academic skills. So that means that you might be on campus 3 days or 2 days. Sometimes you have two modules on the same day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. But sometimes it's 3 days, 3 mornings or 3 afternoons, or 2 mornings, 1 afternoon, or something like that. So in terms of flexibility, there is flexibility, if that's what you mean. Can I get a student job in SEPD? Sometimes there are jobs, yeah. There are paid jobs, but this is something that you will need to explore once you are here.
Actually, it's kind of similar to me. I used to be a student here, and I was employed as a student staff. But if you work as a student in the School of Education, you are only allowed to work part-time and 15 hours per week. But the job in the School of Education is quite rare, actually. And as far as I know, they are not recruiting at the moment. I'm sorry.
Can I throw more light on the MA Teaching and Learning? Yes, so the Teaching and Learning is a continuous professional development type of a program in which we will explore in more depth, in lots of depth, the best, well-evidenced teaching and learning practices, okay, and the implications of those practices on children from an international perspective. We will explore our own understanding, our own practices. We will challenge our own practices, and so we can develop our own understanding and support the children that we have in front of us the best way possible. We will be looking at teaching techniques, assessment techniques, curriculum development, some sort of inclusion as well, collaborative learning. So, but the main thing is the evidence base, is the criticality behind these modules, where all the discussions, all the concepts, all the models, all the ideas that we present need to be supported by evidence, need to be supported by research, and your practices need to be supported by that. So you develop a well-informed professional judgment. Tell me more about Global International. Right. I just want to reiterate that lots of this information is on the website. You can go and have a look at what the website says. All these routes are explained. You can see all the modules individually as well. There's a discussion on each module, assessment, etc., etc. So Global International is to develop a global perspectives, and we had students from these masters that wanted to go and work in international organizations such as charities, such as UNICEF, such as UNESCO, that they want to work and try to bring education to those less favorable. So it's a very globalized masters, where you will be looking at issues around the world in terms of educational experience. When and how we choose modules. Once you have enrolled, the admin team will be in touch with you. Yeah, you choose before. Sorry, you choose after. Not before. You choose the route when you're enrolling, and then that brings the core modules. But once you've enrolled and you've secured all the documentation and everything, then you choose the optionals.
And you'll be contacted by the course administrator to select the modules. So they will email you after you enroll in the course.
Yeah.
So I think someone is still typing in the chat box here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
QTS.
QTS, yeah.
So QTS, the qualified teacher status. So there are certain schools in the UK that I would need probably an hour to explain this. The UK, first of all, it's not the UK, it's England. The UK is comprised of 4 different countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So if you are with us, you are in England, which is the biggest country in the UK. So what I'm going to talk about is England. It doesn't apply to Wales, Scotland, or Northern Ireland. They have different educational systems. So in England, local authority or maintained schools need to employ teachers with qualified teacher status, or early career teacher, now it's called ECT. Academies, free schools, independent schools, private schools do not need to recruit teachers with QTS. Okay, so someone doing a master's, and this is what most of our students do, end up working or applying to work in academies, in free schools, in independent private schools, etc., because they don't require the qualified teacher status, this short certification. And if someone wants the qualified teacher status, we support you in achieving that. We run sessions to for you to understand how you could achieve that. And there are lots of different ways of achieving it. There is assessment only way. There is doing a short course like Teach First, School Direct, or doing another PGCE with us, for example, to gain the qualified teacher status. So as I said, there's a lot of schools that need to recruit teachers with QTS, but others do not. If you are if you're working as a supply teacher, you don't require QTS status, so you can work in a school, in a mainstream school, or on a maintained school without a QTS as a supply teacher for a little while. If you have more questions about this, there's a website called Get Into Teaching. Maybe you can type that or put the link, Get Into Teaching, where there's more information about everything that's going on in England. Right, Get Into Teaching, yes. Aisha, topic of research. We get any idea for choose topic? We get any idea? Well, we can help you with the ideas, and we will help you refine those ideas, but the topic will come from you. We'll have a discussion with you about what are you interested in, and then we'll take it from there. But it comes from you, the area, okay? You choose the topic, and then we will help you out to make it doable, because sometimes they get too big or too small, so we, something that is doable. Can one graduate with postgraduate diploma in childhood? And one in childhood. I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, I'm quite confused with this question here. So basically, you are doing an MA education, so you are acquiring a master degree already.
Yeah. So, well, it is. Yeah, a master's degree is postgraduate. Yeah, because you've already graduated. So it's a master's in early childhood. Yes. So there's a route which is early childhood education. Yeah. And actually, if you want to see it, because I actually had I'll show you actually what the diploma looks like if you want. And for this one, let me find it. Because I showed it yesterday. And
maybe you can share your screen then, Mark.
Yes, I'm just going to share with you guys in a second. So this is what the diploma looks like, and it says Masters of Arts, with the distinction, merit, or the grade you achieve, and this one is early childhood studies. Okay, so this is what the diploma looks like. Okay. What will be our learning sources? I mean, books or lectures? Right. So that's a very interesting question. We do not have lectures, but that doesn't mean that everything will come from books. We know that lectures do not work. As a student, sitting in a lecture theater for 1 or 2 hours, just listening to someone talking at you, that's no way of learning. The way of learning is by engaging, by talking, by collaborating with others, by talking to your peers, by talking, and that means discussing things with your lecturer, with your module tutor. So all the sessions are workshops or seminars, okay? So every single session is 3-hour session, and it's a discussion-based session. You will be presented with content, obviously. There'll be some input, but it won't be an hour of someone talking at you. So you will have some sort of input, then you will have to do some work with someone else, or reflect on a particular reading, or create a plan, or do something with that new information, and then discussing among everyone else. Okay, so this is what happens in the seminars. Then there's independent study. You know, after the seminar, you will go home or go to the library, and then you will expand or solidify that knowledge, okay? We have a beautiful library, very big library on campus that is open for you to go, the study rooms, etc. And our online library is bigger because we have lots and lots of ebooks that are readily accessible from anywhere in the world, actually. And you can continue your learning and engaging with those sources from whenever you are.
Are there any other question for Mark then? Okay, so it seems like nobody's asking anything. So I just received a question from a student. So the student asked me about like, so is it possible to change the optional module once the term has started? Mark?
It is possible. It is possible, but sometimes it doesn't happen because of numbers. Because obviously, if one of the modules has reached the maximum amount of students, then it might not be possible to join that module. Sometimes it is possible, and I've accepted several, but obviously once the students have, you need to understand this, that once the students have selected their modules, then we put the staff. So and allocate staff and teachers, and we block time and classrooms, etc. So changing students, if sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not, because that would mean closing down sessions or closing down modules. So again, you can always ask, and most of the time we can do it, but we cannot always do it. I want to manage expectations.
Yeah.
So I would encourage probably to, before choosing the optional, making sure that that's the one you want.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions, Anne?
Yeah, I think someone is typing as well.
From you, I mean, that you had?
Sorry?
Questions that you received?
Yeah. I received from WhatsApp. Yeah.
From WhatsApp. So is QTS mandatory to work after finishing MA education? As I said, there are schools that they are required QTS, and there are schools that are not required. Academies, which are mainstream schools now, they do not require QTS. Free schools, private schools, you can work there without a QTS. There are other schools, local authority schools, that they require QTS to work there. It depends on the school.
Yeah. Okay, someone is typing in as well.
Carry on though, Nam. If you have other questions, just ask them.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I just have that question for you.
Oh, you only had
yeah, only one question actually.
Would you please talk about further studies? Yes. After doing the, after doing the MA. So after doing the MA, if you want to do more studies, and there's only one more step, and it's to do a doctorate. It could be an EdD, which is an educational doctorate, or a PhD, which is a doctorate in philosophy. They're all at level 8, and you end up having a doctorate, but the focus is slightly different. An EdD is more for professionals that are working in a setting and they want to use their professional experience to gain a doctorate, and a PhD is more a research focus, not in a particular setting, more about the educational system as a whole, etc., etc. Okay, but that is the opportunity. We offer some grants depending on the quality of the proposal and the quality of the student, etc., and if they align with the priorities of the school. But further studies definitely are possible. An EdD or a PhD full-time tends to take 3 to 4 years, part-time 6 to 8 potentially. So yeah, this is what the further studies would look like for you after doing an MA. Can I know the employability of the course? We've talked about this. So most of our students are already working. They are professionals, they are teachers, and those who go back to their own country, they carry on with their job, or they take new jobs based on the masters. Those who stay here, they might end up working with a graduate visa. They might end up getting a job in a school or in a nursery, being a supply teacher, being a TA, being a class teacher, etc., or depending on the route that they've chosen. And we run employability courses within the masters. We offer workshops, we offer support to develop your employability and to write your CV, to apply, etc., to prepare an interview, etc. Thank you. No problem. While doing bachelor's education, I participated in a school training test, and I went to school for training. Is there any training part outside the uni? Is there any training part? Oh, is there any training? You mean sessions outside the uni? Usually it happens all at university or online. There might be some links with industry, potentially some guest lectures, guest participants that will bring their experience from schools or their experience from industry. But most of the course happens at school. After MA, can one get a job with the university? What's university for employability?
We answered this question already.
Yeah. So there are jobs that you can find at the university level. At the university level, you can become an ambassador. You can become. There are some within the school. Sometimes, not currently, but most of our students do not end up working with us. Can they employ international students? Can the university employ international students after a graduation? Yes, they can. I am an international member of a staff, for example, and I was recruited by the university.
I'm an international member of staff as well, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you actually completed the MA with us.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So okay, so are there any final questions for Mark before we wrap up this section? Okay, so I think there's no one typing any more questions. So yeah, I think you deliver a great section, Mark. Lots of information, all recorded for the students. So yeah, so if you want to contact Mark, I can write his email here, share his email with you so that you can contact him later, or you can contact me if you want to ask me anything, that's fine. So I think this is the end of the drop-in section here. So thank you, Mark. It's been very informative from you. And thank you all for being here today.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you maybe in January or very soon. And if you guys have any questions, I'm going to just type the SAP Masters at hood.ac.uk, and I don't want to make a mistake now. So any questions, please email this. This is the admin team that I work closely with them, and they filter all the questions. They might be able to answer the questions faster than I can. Sometimes they're very busy. So guys, thank you very much. Nam, brilliant.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Good to see you, Mark.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye.